All right, how we doing? Whoops. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Starting off all right. Starting off all nice. Doing things, doing stuff. So, game stream tonight. Excited for that. uh, Other things at other times. I'm sure that other people are excited for. Mm. Seems like my connection's a little bit unstable this morning, but you know, it's how it is. It's how it is. Right, so we're going to be proceeding with line testing for our latest Redbubble stickers, just as soon as we get a little bit of night music in here. Night music, he says. A little bit of, backing track. Not you. 30-minute thing. There we go. Right. Hopefully that sounds good. Let's hit it. So, picking up right where we left off, this is where we were at. Now, the line look here looks pretty good, so I say that. What I still don't know about is how thin these lines are. I think the only solution is to keep going with the line art here and yeah, keep going with the line art here and basically get a few more examples in. Judge from there. A lot of reference looking. A lot of reference to look at. Anyway. So yeah, I'm making a lot of double takes on these gauntlets. Yeah, the buckles are in the inside, so I really pretend to give a shit about those details. I do care about them, but like it's an automatic thing, you know. Something about a design like this, the details just show through, in my opinion, with this art style. Something about the simplicity makes the complexity pop, he says, all poetically and artistically. Hands are hard. Did you know hands are hard? Hands are hard. If you've ever done art, you know hands are hard. A lot of fingers. Alright, here's another area where we're doing the, oh, here's a good question. You're right, they don't. So I'm looking at this line and I'm trying to decide. You see a little bit of gold pixelation in here. I'm trying to decide. So this section doesn't look gold. But I'm trying to decide, is that because it's actually not gold or is that the render? I don't know. I'm looking at it. I can't tell. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit in the mix. Just like that. Right. Alright. Okay. Anyway. Now we're gonna go with this shape. Fix it in post if it looks wrong. Now we've got this right pauldron I want to do. We've still got the 6 loaded up, so... Change this to 9. Anyway. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, excited to game stream today. Be a fun return to form. After the last stream, I've been wondering about this for a while, and basically my suspicions were confirmed last night. I mean, last time I streamed, where yeah, the game volume and the mix weren't really high enough. Game sounds are really quiet as a result, and I do want them to be somewhat quiet, but I don't want them too quiet, you feel? So this, I have the opportunity to rectify my mistakes. We got this chain pattern I gotta worry about. Let's see. That chain is kind of a stack of dashes. Like so. Not quite connecting on this end, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. There are some places where we just kind of have to say fuck it with the detail. Like, I'd be here forever if I got in all of this detail that's kind of in the in this sort of chest area. Any major things I should get? Probably this shape. God has cursed me for my hubris, and my task is never finished. Alrighty then. Let's do a little color correction. And then you know what I feel like doing? There's been a larger, like, non-Redbubble piece that I've been thinking about doing. I do like to do those sometimes. It's based on a sketch I did years ago. I'd be doing it from memory. I don't know where the original sketch even is. But occasionally, it is fun to do a sketch that, you know, a more complex piece that's just a good vibe. Sometimes you need good vibes in the world. You gotta put good vibes out there. What the... What is... What layer am I on right now? That's weird. Let's hope I don't forget this. Wait. Merge visible. Thank God for the undo button. Merge down. Thank you. That was weird. I think it created a new layer on accident somehow. Alright, that's how it's looking. I still don't know how I feel about the gold trim. I could try to do this over in 9, which I'm not going to do right now, but that would be the deciding factor. If I did this over in 9 and it looks like shit, I know I gotta go with the 6 for the gold trim. And I gotta be consistent. Like, if I allow myself to, what's the word? What is the word? What is the word I'm looking for? Be inconsistent. It's gonna open up a can of worms, so I don't want to open for a piece like this. All right. Oh, sweet Jesus. It's taking a break from this. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I'm gonna hide my stuff from y'all when I'm switching over. You don't get to see what I got. That's for special eyes only. All right. One of the things that's annoying about digital art is that canvas sizes are abstract. I'm doing a bigger one for this though. This is 8x6. Look how tiny my... Yeah, it's a good size though. We'll be able to get some use out of this. Bigger canvas than I usually work with. It's fine though. So, like I said, I'm going to be working from memory. I already know what I want the sketch to be. What I want this to look like anyway. I just got to block it out. So let's start with... Got a shape here. What's it going to be? We don't know. But we're going to make it smaller. Wanted to pull our attention, but we don't want it to be the focal point. Focal point's up here. We got some big shapes next to it. What could they be? Sweet Jesus. I've tilted the canvas. I'm not allowed to do that. I would be very interested if people are watching this in the VOD right now. What do you think this is going to be? What does this look like? Comment. I dare you. I am genuinely curious to see what people think this is from just these cursory shapes. These impressions in the proverbial sand. I'll give you a hint. There's a reason why there was sand on my brain. Getting into details, and I'm not even ready yet. Now we're starting to get some idea. Alright, so now we're going to do another layer of very roughs. Got a lot of background, a lot of elements to work out here. A lot of stuff to do. Yeah, we've got a lot of detail to work with. That's like what's nice about working with a larger canvas. This is gonna take a while. I am setting myself up for a lot of work. Feels good though. We need a reference here. Let me yank one, shall we? We got one. Oh, I'm gonna have a lot of work to do here. So yeah, I think y'all can start to get an idea what I'm going for here. I don't know where this idea came from. I do like a good vibe, you know. I've only said that like a few dozen times on this, my different live streams. I like a good, like, hopeful... One of the vibes I like is a hopeful, affirmative vibe. And... just imagining a positive future. Sometimes elements of that come from the past and come from fiction. And I think the genesis of this sketch... I just realized, look at this. This is wonky. This is off-center. Like, let's pull out a guide. Yeah, these gotta be straight up and down. Let's fix that right now. This is definitely not the finest rough I'm going to do. There's gonna be another one. It's gonna be a lot of lines. A lot of lines. I gotta be very straight on this, on these buildings. Yeah, look at how much this deviates. They are deviating all, like, basically to the same degree, so that's good. Nope, not you. You move. Thank you. Except for this one, look at how much this one's off-center. One of the best pieces of media I've ever seen vibes-wise is probably Cowboy Bebop. You cannot touch that shit. Man, it is stellar. And what gets me about it is that it's a film, as a piece of media, the artistry, you know, the thought that goes into the, just the designs of the backgrounds and the environments. It simultaneously acknowledges humanity's shortcomings and says that, no, these things are going to be a part of us going forward. We don't have any illusions about that, but still proposes we can have a hopeful future regardless. The future of Cowboy Bebop is based on, like, a lot of... It's not speculative fiction, Cowboy Bebop, don't get me wrong. It's a fiction and science fiction with all that, like, gate nonsense. Friggin' magic stuff that happens. But, point being, it still presents a vision where, you know, the human race are a limited people. They are a flawed people, but they're still capable of great things. It's sort of a, it's affirmative, while still being acknowledging of faults. That's something I like. A lot of, I think that's why a lot of... even though I didn't live through the 80s, even though Ronald Reagan is dead, and I'm very glad that he is, I still definitely get caught up in, like, some forms of 80s nostalgia that come through with music, not from the 80s, but that is inspired by the 80s. There is that vibe that Bebop captured in its art. All this is to say that I look to that. I look to that for inspiration a lot. And the question I have is, how do you bring that into the vision of the future we have now that is more conscious of where exactly our shortcomings are, what is their nature, what we can do to improve, and how do you make some of that vision compatible with the changes that our vision for the future is undergoing. Currently, there is a positive thing. We have kind of been without a rudder in terms of what the future looks like, what vision should we strive for a while. There have been ideas, there's been the lingering impression of what the 80s promised, which is the sort of future that was kind of lampooned in Back to the Future. Very tech-centric, very consumerist, very sort of damn, even in the 80s, it was criticizing itself. There's never been a full-throated endorsement of consumerism in the culture. We've always acknowledged that it's kind of shit, right? Like, even if you go back to, like, the glitz and the glam of the 1980s, like, you find that the culture in the 80s and the 90s, I have to lump the two times in there, like, really not so much the Reagan years, but like the later Reagan years, the Bush W year, the HW years, and the Clinton years. Even though we acknowledge that Bill Clinton is a prick who, you know, probably did redacted, like, his presidency was a time of great hope, because, like, the Cold War was over, basically. You know, unions were a thing. That was a trouble spot for anybody paying attention, but everything seemed to be on track. You know, there was still plenty of wealth in the general population. That's not true anymore, gosh darn it. But it was something at the time. There was a default hope for the future. Where was I going with this? Yeah. Since then, post 9/11, post 2007, the economic collapse, the vision of what the future looked like has kind of gone stale. The, like, the sort of, like, space programs that America was engaged in have kind of gone more and more on the back burner. They're starting to get restarted now, although we'll see. We'll see if Artemis gets there, you know? It'll be good if it does, genuinely, no matter what president it happens under, in my opinion. But, you know, whether it just gets shit-canned for no reason, we'll see. But no, our visions of the future, yeah, have gone stale. There hasn't really been an update since that hopeful vision of the 80s. The only things that are there are the new innovation, the thing that people have kind of latched onto in the post hope age, has been dystopia, and just imagining what that looks like. Zombie apocalypse, climate catastrophe, this, that, and the other thing. Nothing specific, you know, but there's a general idea of things falling apart. Cyberpunk is another example. That originally started as a kind of reaction to the tech-heavy, Reaganistic, corporocratic future, and posited, no, that would kind of suck, actually. And, yeah. Gonna mark this for later. I'm gonna forget otherwise. But no, luckily in the past couple of years, like the past like 5-6 years, and growing more and more, I'm thankful to say, we have seen the emergence of a new vision. Because honestly, climate change really threw a wrench in everything's gears more than anything. Climate change has necessitated a change in just like the vision that we see of the future, even technologically. And kind of from a post, there's, you know, been a lot of like thought and reconciliation among people, and we've started to, like, the naysayers are starting to die down. There's been a lot of doomerism in the past friggin' couple of decades, and I think that we've reached a point where the doomerism is honestly starting to become less and less realistic, just on a raw, what are the facts level. We're still not in a good place, but the thing is that in acknowledging that we're not in a good place, even though the powers that be are desperate to hold on to their power structures, there is positive movement. And a result of that is that we have begun to see a new vision of the future emerge, and that is solar punk. That is solar punk is interesting because it both draws from the terminology of steampunk, diesel punk, ray punk, atom punk, all those different sci-fi aesthetics that are based on a retro technology, with solar punk instead being based on an actual future one, future current solar technology, right? There's nothing like wholly futuristic in solar punk. It is focusing on a positive future for mankind, but it mostly uses stuff that we already have available. I'm talking about solar punk. Like, if you watch any of my streams, you're looking at my avatar. I'm wearing a fucking ornately decorated gas mask hooked up to an oxygen tube with an ornate flower in it. Like, that's solar. Like, this is not like a proposed future solar punk technology. Everybody's gonna go around wearing flowers on their chest and breathing from them, but like, this is part of the aesthetic, the merging and harmony of high technology with nature, which is totally possible, by the way. It does necessitate mainly a change in our consumption habits, and no more fossil fuels. You gotta drink them while they're drink them like they're going out of style, because they are, folks. Like, actually, like, it's not even a joke. In terms of like new energy growth, just in the private sector, with with little public support. There is public support, but with little public support, sector support, government support, solar's taking the fuck off. Like, not even close. Like, honestly, if you have like speculative investments and you don't have some stuff in solar, you should get some stuff in solar. It is gonna, like, this chapter of energy transformation has been written, and solar is king. I say has been written. We're talking about the next like 20 years. Other forms of energy are going to come around, like deep core hydrothermal is probably, I think that there's a high chance it's going to get going. Basically, that means that regular geothermal, damn it. Deep core geothermal. Why did I say deep core hydrothermal? We're drilling deep into the water, folks. We're gonna drill into the water, into the bottom of the ocean, not into the ground, into the water itself. But anyway, now deep core geothermal. So geothermal power is just digging a big hole, and it's hot if you go far down enough, and you pump water down there, it turns to steam, comes back up, spins a turbine. Bada bing, bada boom. Very simple. What prevents it? Why isn't that the norm already in current day? And the reason is that you have to dig very far down to the point where it actually gets prohibitively expensive to dig that far down. We're talking just like a little borehole, but we're talking serious freaking deep. We're talking like, you know the deepest hole ever dug in Russia, which is the deepest hole ever dug anywhere, but it's in Russia. That's why I say it like that. That motherfucker is like the types of depths we're talking. Not as deep as that, but like that's a kind, like, stupid deep, right? And basically, this problem does not keep deep core geothermal from being viable everywhere. Like, you have that in places where you have volcanic activity and there's heat closer to the surface. Like Iceland, for example, you have a lot of geothermal power. But you can't do that everywhere. Not in a commercially viable way. And because we live in capitalism, it's a constraint we have to work within. That's not to say that geothermal will be entirely viable without the profit motive being a contributing factor, like currently anyway. Like, there's also the fact that, like, value is so abstracted from anything real in the real world, but it is still at least a little bit linked, right? Like, there are some things, especially things that are outside of like the regular economic consumer markets, that they're expensive legitimately because they're rare and hard to obtain, you know? And so you have to factor that in. But with economic advancements, deep core geothermal could be a very, very viable option. Very, very viable. And the what's he drawing here? I wonder what he could be drawing. Yeah. But yeah, no, in case I was incoherent earlier, yeah, with the right advances in technology, Deep Core geothermal could become like a commercially viable thing. If we just get a method of drilling that is you can just get a deep enough hole without having to spend a lot of money. So that's a potential game changer in terms of green energy. That could like interrupt the dominance of solar power. But notably, I think even in a future where we have like fucking fusion shit, I think even in that future, you're still going to have a lot of I'm gonna go back to the drawing boards on these roads. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I am gonna get caught up in the details in here. I'm actually gonna leave a note about this. You can leave notes in Photoshop. It's great. I'm gonna have to do it for this kind of piece. So, okay, I'm caterwauling about deep core geothermal for like 20 minutes. I'll say my last thing about power. Even if we develop nuclear fusion, which is the ultimate holy grail that just blows everything out of the water, and that's the only energy we ever need forever. Not the only, but like the only primary source of energy we need forever. Even if we crack that egg, solar is still going to be a valuable technology because just like you can just stick a solar panel anywhere, you know. You can stick them on your roof, you can stick them on your balcony, you can stick them on the big side of the building. That's what these shapes are going to be right here. Spoiler alert. Where are my notes? Note tool. All right. Can't see the note in the thing. Don't worry about it. Okay. Note. All right. It's like 7:50 and I gotta go to work, so that's gonna be all for today. But yeah, no, this piece to sort of close out by actually giving away the game. You can kind of tell what this is if you're not familiar with any kind of like giant robot media. This is Giant Robot. What giant robot is it? Who gives a fuck? It's just some giant robot. He's dead. He's rusted. He's basically a fucking war memorial to some ancient battle that happened long ago. Point being that this city around him, this like kind of hopeful sort of solar punk tropical thing, which I have to do a lot of thought about to make it look like, because I want to do a high technology aesthetic, which Solarpunk is a marriage of high tech and nature, but it is it's also excuse me, it's also very tech frugal, and I don't want to do a tech frugal aesthetic. I want to do something, because you can see he's flanked by these two massive buildings that just dwarf everything around them. These are supposed to be like massive vertical apartment blocks. I might balance out this part here. Actually, let me do that right now, because I've decided I want to do that. I made a decision. I've made a decision. I've decided. It's decide time, and I've decided. Do I want to do that? Now I don't know. Okay, what I do need to do is take you and move you in. There we go. Now we're a little more balanced, see? Gonna move you in further. Yeah. I want to do high tech, but I want to still do solar punk, which is possible. It's possible to square that circle. It's more than possible to square that circle, but I just gotta think about how. Because a big part of solar punk is a big part. I would say one of the most important pillars of it is an end to car centrism in urban design. So you want your streets to be pedestrian friendly. You want them to be mass transit friendly and bike friendly. Like, you see this promenade here? There's not enough, there's not enough foliage. Look at me being fancy. Stop it. I need street trees, vendors, human activity. Especially because this is a tropical setting, and so they're going to be worried about keeping cool, keeping shady, keeping the public roads shady for pedestrians. You see, like, I have these buildings with these courtyards, and they're so long. This is a genuine problem in modern urban design. You have these big, long buildings that take up an entire block. If you've ever walked around those buildings, there's a hostility to them. If you don't have regular storefronts and entrances, it's a weird psychological thing, but I can tell you, like, somebody who lived in a city with, like, that has both those new long buildings and short buildings, not short buildings, but buildings with lots of like street level commercial, where you have like storefronts and you have like business entrances every few hundred feet. The second one is a lot more pleasant to walk by, and so that is something. The segmentation of the facade is important. So that might look something like. I need to actually stop. I need to actually get ready for work, but let's see. I gotta make this work though. I am consumed. I am obsessed. I am not doing okay mentally. I'm doing okay mentally, but I'm pretending to be an insane person for the bit. Don't worry about it. Sort of a recess with. And that kind of gives, honestly, Night City vibes, which I don't know if I want to go for that. And now we're getting somewhere. These are like the street trees. They're completely obscuring the storefront. Don't worry about it. That might be it. I'm going to have to do some thinking about this. But no, this is going to be an ongoing project that is going to take a very long time. But that's just how art is sometimes. That's just how that is just how art is sometimes. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, folks? But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. But that's it for today. I am now logging off. I will be on later for game stream at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll be probably just do the same games we did last week because those games are fun and people seem to like them. Or those games are fun. Yeah. We'll probably squid dive, do some solo squid diving. It will be a huge mistake. I will regret it every second, but it'll be good content. But yeah, I'll see you then. Until then, have a good morning. Rest of your morning. This morning, because it's morning. Yeah. Alright, outro. I do an outro. Look at this. See? It's an outro.